King Arthur Knight's Tale. Ever wanted to know what a story would be like if King Arthur was actually the bad guy? Well, that is what this game centers around. King Arthur Knight's Tale is a tactical turn-based RPG where you get to play as a Knight of the Round Table, and of course in doing so you get to recruit your own knights throughout your story as well, telling the story that you want to tell, because within King Arthur Knight's Tale you have power over how your story ends, that being a good ending or a somewhat bad ending. The decisions are of course yours. Hello and welcome to the Critically Curious Monk, and today we will be reviewing King Arthur Knight's Tale. Now, I have previously reviewed this game for the channel when it launched way back on Steam. This game has now hit console, and I'm really glad to have got my hands on this game early, because first of all, let's just say performance wise I have been very surprised. It works great on consoles, guys. I've played on the Series S and the Series X. Both of them perform very well. I'd also like to mention how this game was originally a 120GB download on Steam. It's only a 60GB download now on console. So they have done a lot of optimizing, which is a really good thing, because that was one of the bad things about this game back when it launched over on Steam. And I'm doing it a little bit early, but like I said, I had no dashboards and no performance issues whatsoever. This game actually performed surprisingly well. Back over to the story, you take on the role as one of the Knights of the Realm. Now, in your previous life, you killed King Arthur. But as you did, Arthur also slew you. Now, something went wrong. That is not where your story ends. No. This is where our story begins, because you all happen upon another plane of existence, and you're given a task by none other than the Lady of the Lake to finish what you started. Now, this is a dark and gritty tale. You, of course, get the power of decisions within this game, where you get to choose to either be, a man of justice or just in it for yourself. And along the way, you get to recruit a lot of familiar faces, lots of famous knights of old. Anyone that likes the King Arthur stories is going to absolutely love this game. There is a very big twist on certain characters. It's a really interesting world that you get to explore level after level, character after character. There's a lot of recruitable characters in this game. Combat wise, this is a turn-based game. You initially play as a knight, as a classic sword and shield knight. You get to recruit other companions that do other things, like massive two-handed weapons, bows, crossbows, even magic thrown in as well. You get to decide, what kind of troops or knights that you want to bring into different levels. Some of them are obviously a lot harder than others. You initially get a squad of around 4, but it doesn't mean you're only ever going to be using 4 units, because as you play through certain levels, you will acquire temporary companions as well. Most of the time you are completely outnumbered, however. What this game does very well at is making you feel like an actual complete tank in this game. The combat is brutal, and you are up against a lot of enemies, but you are this almighty, heavily armor-clad knight in the middle of it all, going hammer and tong with everything this game wants to throw at you, that being peasants or bandits or even the undead. And along the way, you're going to meet a lot of really interesting characters. You're going to have decision over what happens within your kingdom that you're building, whether you're going to be a bit lenient, whether you're going to be a complete git. Some of these characters will throw down the gauntlet and ask for a one-on-one duel. Personally, I thought that was really cool. And after these levels, you're also going to have other decisions that you have to make. There's lots of little things that add extra layers to this, including an actual castle that you get to revamp and build up. You know, there's going to be places for your troops to heal, for them to train, for you to buy new weapons, for you to literally build your own round table. And of course, your troops do level up along the way. Not only do they level up, but they get new abilities and new skills, and you get to decide how they go down those different paths as well. You also get to loot the battlefield for weapons and armor and trinkets and potions and stuff like that. Where this game goes a little bit in a different direction though is that you can't actually access any of that loot while in the level. It's only after the level is done that you get to, you know, tinker around and change how your characters are set up. This game is a little bit unforgiving as well. This is a tough game at times. There are several different difficulties that you can choose from, so you don't have to go just in, you know, hardcore mode. But this game does feature permadeath, and your companions are people that you're going to have to manage very, very well as time goes on, because where this game is a little bit different is it almost has three different health bars. You have your armor, and of course your, you know, your vanguard, your champions, they're going to have a lot more armor than say your wizards or your archers. You're also going to have a HP bar for that level. Now that HP bar will always replenish on every single level that you play on, whereas your actual vitality, your actual, you know, main character's health is over there in green on the left hand side. If that gets damaged, that's when you got a few other problems. You're going to have to put your troops in the infirmary to, you know, in order to heal up. But you can also suffer long-term illnesses and effects and breaks and fractures and, you know, more things besides as you go through the game. So making sure your characters are always well prepared is a really good idea. This kind of almost survival aspect that they've added to the game, I really, really like, because it just adds that extra layer of jeopardy on every single mission. And if you accidentally, you know, go too far forward, for instance, with an archer or a wizard, or perhaps someone's armor's got completely stripped off and you didn't quite realize just how far gone they were, then it can be really difficult later in the game, you trying to manage these different companions' health. And of course, it does have that permadeath as well, so you can accidentally get your favorite character killed, and oops, you're going to have to go to some backups. This game is also 100% voice acted, which is fantastic. There are a few cutscenes within the game, but again, every single bit, every single NPC is 100% voice acted, and some of those voice acting is actually very, very good as well. It really helps to get you into this game.
Place reeks of evil sorcery, suffering, and despair. I can only grasp a fleeting glimpse of tragedy that unfolded here a long time ago, and I don't want to see more.
Personally, I kind of think it is pretty awesome that the Lady of the Lake is your in-game narrator, always present, always warning you or giving you some kind of lure. I've had an absolute blast replaying this game. This is quite a big game as well. It will set you back around $37.49 on the Xbox, and it will take you over 100 hours to complete if you are a completionist and like to hit those side stories and side quests as well. One thing I especially like with King Arthur Knight's Tale hitting console is that Neocore Games, who published and developed this game, are actually releasing it with all the DLCs that they have made over on Steam, meaning you do not have to wait months on end for the PC version of DLC to finally hit console. It's coming out on day one. And as well as the main story, we've also got skirmish mode and a PvP mode, which currently I haven't actually managed to play, but I'm hoping once released I will be able to. As for drawbacks, it can get very repetitive. Every level can feel almost like the same level. Yes, it's different locations, it's different textures, all those kind of things, but it's pretty much the same thing. You are clearing out area after area, and there are waves after waves of bad guys as well. When it comes to the combat, you are doing a lot of fights. This is definitely not a forgiving game. There is a lot of bad guys, and it's going to take a lot for you to save Camelot. So if turn-based combat isn't your thing, then this game certainly isn't going to be for you, unfortunately. But for me, I'm going to give this game an 8 out of 10. Honestly, it's one that I really enjoy playing. It has real grit and darkness to it, and I just absolutely adore the theme. But let me know down in the comments if this is a game that you've played, if you're gonna pick up, or perhaps if you fancy a bit of PvP. We do actually have an active and growing Discord. You can find the link for it down in the description of the video. So if you want a game, jump in the server and say hello. And of course, if you have watched to the very end of this review, a big thank you to you. Don't forget to comment Red Banana down below. Just confused with those people that didn't watch to the end or that are just new to the channel. But until next time, I've been a monk, you've been a critically curious, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.